These are your notes on literal analysis and dimensional analysis. So I put 2.8 notes, literal and dimensional analysis. And make sure you put your page number at the top and put this into your table of contents. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is the literal analysis. I actually really like doing this. Highlight that. So literal analysis is literally when you have a formula or an equation that has multiple variables in it and you're asked to solve for one of them. So when a formula or an equation involves several variables, you can solve for one of them. So, for example, we'll look at one that we've been doing before. If I gave us the problem like 4x plus 10 equals 14, our first job is to identify the variable and ask yourself, well, what's happening to it? Oh my goodness, let me move my picture down here. All right, so maybe I highlight my variable here in green. There it is. And then you ask yourself, what's happening to it? Well, it looks like you've added 10 and multiplied by 4. You gotta get rid of your adding 10 first. So we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And then I have left with 4x equals 14 minus 10 is 4. Here's my variable x multiplied by 4, so we got to divide by 4. So I get x all by itself is equal to 1. And then, of course, we would double check our work, okay? But in this case, we only had one variable to solve for, or one variable to pick from. We wanted to know what was that variable. If you take a look at this one, you have the equation 4m minus 3n equals 8. Okay, in this case, you have two variables. So I'm going to tell you to solve for one of them. Let's say I ask you to solve for m. The same rules apply. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is highlight your variable, the m, and ask yourself what's happening to it. Well, we've subtracted 3n and multiplied by 4. So to get rid of this stuff, you have to undo it. Well, if you're subtracted 3n, let's add 3n. And draw a line to show this is what's left behind after we've added 3n. We're left with a 4m on the left side, and we have an 8 plus a 3n. I don't know what n is, and so I can't combine like terms here. The variables are not the same, exponents are not the same, so I can't combine them. So I'm really left with 3n plus 8, or 8 plus 3n. Addition is commutative. Okay, still solving for m. M is multiplied by 4, so I got to divide both sides by 4. And when I mean dividing both sides, I mean both sides, so all of it. So I get m is equal to 3n plus 8, whatever n must be, and then divide by 4. And because I don't know what n is, I really can't go any farther than that, and I am done. Okay, so let's try this one. If I did d plus 5c equals 3d minus 1, and they ask me to solve for d. Okay, in this case, you have d's and c's. We're asked to solve for a d, okay? But our first job is to get all of our d's together. So what I'm going to do here, this is a 1d. There's only one there. So I might move my 1d over to the other side so it's with the other 3. So I'm going to take this 1d away, leaving behind 5c equals Well, you have 3D minus 1D, 2D minus 1. Now at this point, you find your variable right here and ask yourself what's happening to it. Looks like we've subtracted 1, multiplied by 2. Let's get rid of that subtracting 1 by adding 1. So I have a 5c plus 1. I can't combine them because they're not the same. Equals 2d. Find my variable. Oh, there it is. D multiplied by 2. So we're going to divide by 2. And the whole thing is divided by 2. So I get d equals 5 times c plus 1 all over 2. Now if I knew what c was, I could go farther than that, but I don't. But the equation is solved for d. D is all by itself, which is what we wanted. Okay. The formula for the circle. Circle. And we're going to look at the area. No, we'll look at the circumference. Circumference is, I mean, just for fun, we'll get into this later, but circumference is the distance around the shape, or the perimeter. Is given by the equation c for circumference, capital C, is equal to 2 times pi times your radius. Or circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. And if you take a look at a circle here, the radius is from the center to the outside. You have that distance from the center to the outside. Okay, this is your radius. Diameter, I'll do this in a different color here, is all the way across through the center. So that's why in this one, you had 2 pi r, because you actually have 2 radius to fill up the whole diameter. So you have 2r for the distance of diameter. We're going to work with this one right here. So let's say I want you to solve for the radius. Okay, so we're going to identify the radius. Oh, there it is. I want this one all by itself. What's happening to it? Oh, it's multiplied by 2 and pi, or you're multiplying by 2 pi. So what we're going to do is get rid of that. We're going to divide by 2 pi and divide by 2 pi. This leaves us with r is equal to whatever your circumference is divided by 2 pi. Okay. Let's try a perimeter for rectangle problem. So in one of our problems, we said the perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And that's coming from when you have a rectangle at 4 90-degree angles, 2 sets of parallel sides, 2 sides that are the same length, although they don't have to be. So let's say that these 2 sides, those are L units long, and they have to be the same, otherwise it doesn't fit the definition of a rectangle. And then let's say that this is your width. Well, if this side is W units long, then this side has to be W. So if I'm looking at the perimeter, the distance around, you have an L plus a W plus an L plus a W, or you have 2 L's and 2 W's. So if I wanted us to solve for L, solve for your length, we identify your variable and ask yourself what's happening. Oh, we've added 2w. Let's get rid of adding 2w by subtracting 2w. So I get p minus 2w is equal to 2l. Okay, we've multiplied by 2, so we're going to divide both sides by 2. So I get L is equal to whatever the perimeter is, minus 2 times the width, all over 2. And because I don't know what my perimeter is or my width, I really can't go any farther than this. All right, we'll try a trickier one. If I gave us 3x plus 2y equals x times z, and I want us to solve for x. Okay, so again, in this case, I hope you notice that you have some x's on both sides. So what I suggest is that we bring our x's together. So maybe I subtract the 3x, or I could subtract the 2y. We could do this multiple ways. Maybe I subtract 2y from both sides to get it away from the 3 of them. So that leaves us with 3x equals a x times z minus 2y. Can't combine like terms, okay? But I've got some x's here and x's here. And I can't remove these two from each other. So what we're going to do is subtract the xz from both sides. And then that leaves us with 3x minus an xz equals a negative 2y. Okay. Now this is where this is a little bit different because it looks like we have to get down to 1x, not multiple, and I can't combine like terms, so I'm going to have to find another way. Off to the side here, we talked about the distributive property. So remember when I did like 3 times the quantity x plus 2, we have a 3 times the x, and then the 3 times the 2. In both of these, we have a 3. So it's kind of like this. So I'm at this point, I just have to work backwards and maybe make a parentheses here. Or let's look at it this way. What if I did like x times y plus z? If I did the x times y, I get xy, and then the x times the z gives me xz. So it's the same thing. So what I'm looking for here is, can I pull this x out and rewrite the problem with parentheses? So yep, y plus z would go inside here. If I pulled my x's out, x times and x plus z gives me this mess. So when I look at this one, they both have this x, so let's pull that out and write in the parentheses the 3 minus the z. And if you take a look at this, working forwards now, x times 3 gives me 3x, x times the minus z gives me minus xz. So now I just have one x there, and we can actually get rid of this. X is multiplied by, so if I look at my highlighter here, here's my variable. What's happening to it? Well, it's multiplied by 3 minus z, so let's divide both sides by 3 minus z. And I mean both sides, 3 minus z. Okay, and again, we get down to 1x is equal to negative 2 times y, whatever that is, all over a 3 minus z. And because I don't know what y or z are, this is as far as we can go. All right, next thing that we're going to talk about is dimensional analysis, which gets us into conversions. So you should have a conversion chart in your packet of stuff. We're going to do some conversions today. I'm going to show you another way to do it.